Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump in here. How's everybody doing today? How is everybody doing today? We got the JJDL PRs ready for you guys. I'm sorry, I feel very sick. So if I stutter over my words or something I say doesn't make sense, that's why. But we got a slideshow for you guys this time. Hopefully, hold on, it looks like it's a little off here. There we go. Alright, how's everybody doing? We got some new cool emotes, by the way. If you are a channel member, if you have not already saw them. We have a Gengar emote, Gengar Wave, and a Bernardo emote, a Bernardo Salute. Go ahead and check those out. And while you're at it, for as low as 99 cents a month, you too could become a channel member today. Bernardo, Slideshow Gaming, oh yeah. I actually put forth some effort into this on like the last PRs, which I kind of just loaded up and you guys still loved. So we'll see if you guys like this a little bit better. So before we get into it, I'm gonna go ahead and start a poll to see which division you guys think is the best drafting. Which division do you guys think is the best at drafting? Let's see, we got Charles Youth, we got Ting Wu, and we've got Wo Chien. Go ahead and throw that poll up there for you guys. I'm Basic 2 getting better though. Glad to hear that you're getting better. I'm like in the thick of it right now. It's been real rough for me. Bernardo division? Top 3 about to be Kieran Black teams. Unfortunately not. Do I go with the obvious answer or Chi-Yu? Of Chi-Yu or with a different division because John ranked me low because he's wrong. Ants Draft is like the best one at all. Yeah, Ants Draft is the best one. One of the best I've ever seen. I'll go ahead and spoil you on that because I did in a previous stream. Was there a runaway winner in your PRs? No, actually. So out of the 3 divisions, one scored 316 points. It's like, if you're 48th place, you get 2 points, I think is how I did it. And then if you're first place, you got 48 points. Something like that. And the one division was 100 away. It was 300 points. And the other 2 divisions were within, I think, 4 points of each other. So it was very, very close. 2 divisions were very close. Much closer than any other season. A vote for Wo Chien equals a vote for Bernardo. Don't remember most teams. That's completely fair. That's completely fair. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. If you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and jump into number 48. I've already spoiled it on stream. But it is going to be Jamal. Jamal's team sucks. Did I rate him a little bit lower than I should have? Because it's Jamal and it's funny. Maybe. Who's to say? I'm a big Bernardo fan. If you have Bernardo, if you have a membership, go ahead and drop a Bernardo emote. But big Bernardo guy, round 1 Bernardo, and your best mon is Urshifu Rapid when you have already a fighting and a water type. This team's very bad. There's very few redeeming qualities about this team. Why did you not tear Raging Bolt? I gotta know. You were able to get Raging Bolt round 3, and you did not tear it. I gotta know. Jamal team looking like his basketball takes. Very true. Very true. Look at all these Bernardos. Jamal last. What's going on, Smortney? The community had a runaway. He's literally not even the worst team. Look. Am I rating him this low because it's Jamal? Who's to say? But, look, like, when you have round 1 Bernardo, when you don't tear your Raging Bolt, and when you have Keith, it's an amalgamation here. Wasn't he first last season? I don't think he was first last season, was he? He might have been up there. I don't really remember, but Jamal's gonna come in with our last spot there. He's gonna be plus 1 point for Chi-Yu division. You guys don't have to keep track. I have like a last slide there for you guys. Have to take the Jamal tax into account, absolutely. Alright, moving on, we'll go number 47. We're gonna have Ocean of the Ting Lu division. So this team is a little weird because Kieran went round 1 and then Slowking went round 2 and Diancie round 3, but not even to Terra. So my main problem with this team was Landorus. Terra Landorus was your best Pokemon, and then the rest of them are just kind of really random. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's a bunch of random guys just kind of stuck together, and it's really just Landorus plus some fellas. The people also had Jamal last. That's completely fair. Listen, the Jamal tax is real. Like, this team, it's just round 1 Kyurem set them back immediately. And into the Slowking, obviously, into the Diancie, just a bunch of Pokemon not picked probably where they should have been picked. Who donated money to mess up the draft order? Crazy. Jamal's team is better than this one. Cintro's the hater coming through, hating on me because he doesn't think Shiyu's gonna win. Alright, we'll move on here. We'll move on. Next up, from Mochian, so one from each division so far in the bottom three, we're gonna have Dix. So his best Pokemon is Meowscarada, and that's not even a Pokemon that I necessarily consider like a top tier second best Pokemon in my opinion. It is more balanced than the last two teams in my opinion. I think you could definitely rate Jamal's 47th, but I don't think Jamal's team is better than this one. I think Jamal's team is definitely better, or Jamal's team is definitely worse than this one. This team does have some redeeming factors. I think Enamorus is really cool as a Terra captain. You know, it has strong rock options. It has some alright removal options. But overall, this team is just very weak compared to the rest of the teams. Como, my beloved. Como would have been a cool Terra captain. Did we allow Como to Terra? I don't even know. Probably not. Probably not. But, so Diggs is going to fall at 46. So we're going to have one from each division in the bottom three. I think there were two teams worse in Mochian, but that was third last in the div for me. Gotcha. This team was lowest in Mochian too? Gotcha. Como was banned. Okay. I can't wait for the national pride to boost Snom Jr to incredible English power. Alright, we're going to move on now. Number 45, we have Alfan. And I didn't go over the big disclaimer. This is not based on the player and how good the player is. This is strictly based on the team. And I think Alfan is like the prime example of that. Because Alfan obviously won last season. He's a good player. But his team, not good. His best Pokemon is Weavile, and then it's just a bunch of mediocrity just strewn throughout. It's like Weavile and Ursaluna are his best two Pokemon, and he has Terra Primarina, which is a Pokemon that I'm not too high on with Terra. I don't really think it necessarily benefits from Terra as much as some other things on this might have, like Gengar or even Andy Shocks. It's literally like, it's not horrible. It's not the worst team in the world, but it's just a whole bunch of mid Pokemon. Deserved. And obviously this is Team Lu as well, for those of you keeping track. I really like these Terra captains. I'm not big on Terra Primarina. I think Primarina is a Pokemon that doesn't really want its typing changed too much. Like, it already has really strong dual stats. It's very difficult to switch into, and it doesn't really want to shed either of its typing. In my opinion, I don't think Primarina is a good Terra captain, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. Yes, he was clearly just drafting whatever he wanted. He wanted to use Weavile, so guess what? He took Weavile round 1. That's exactly it. Okay, moving on to 44, we're gonna have Ursa. So, my main thing with Ursa's team, obviously the round 1 Porygon C is gonna deduct you a little bit, but my main thing is the Terra captains are gonna be Barraskewda, who is not very good, and Porygon Z, who I think could actually be pretty interesting. We might have undervalued him a little bit. When you have both Archaludon and Regieleki on your team, I think both of which way better Terra captain, even Landorus better Terra captain, right? You get to this position where Landorus is your best Pokemon and you're on a rain team and you have how many 1 2 3 4 water types, right? It's just like, rain's not very strong this generation. You don't have any super top tier threat, but this team does look fun. Like, I think this team would be fun to play with. Barraskewda, not very good. Barraskewda is not very good. Wrong? No, Barraskewda is not very good. I think, especially when you factor in the fact that he could have tarred Archaludon or Regieleki, I think Ursa already smoked week 1, so I have faith. Don't spoil. I haven't watched them yet. I'm gonna try to do watch throughs. Yikes, that's a take. That's crazy. I didn't know people would actually like this team. His best Pokemon is 16 points. This is crazy. I think it's bad. I think Rain's bad this generation. I think this team is bad. But I think Ursa's gonna have fun. It does look like a fun team. Moving on, we got number 43. We're going to have that one guy from Wochian. So, he has Urshifu and Garchomp as his best two Pokemon. And then Heatran is there as well. He took Garchomp like round 7, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Round 8 Garchomp, which I don't blame you. Round 8 Garchomp, you got to take it. Obviously, Garchomp and Urshifu aren't the best pairing in the world. Both lose to, you know, fairies and physical walls, which can be a good and bad thing because they can chip each other's checks down. But at the same time, you know, they get walled by the same thing. So you might accidentally get walled by something trying to wall Urshifu if you want to sweep with your Garchomp, for instance. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Past that, it's a lot of mediocre guys who are just kind of spliced together. And Cocky stocks are rising. Oh yeah, Cocky's not last this season. Yeah. Terragothitelle being able to trap whatever it wants. I actually had to play against a Terragothitelle once. That's why it's banned, because it was genuinely unfun to play against. It was just not fun. This was not near here in the community forum. This team not very good. It's Urshifu, Garchomp, and then Heatran, right? And there's not really very many good ground resist. It's Bramblegast, Braviary, and Weezing G with Levitate. 24 viewers and 8 likes. Yeah, if you guys have not already, please leave a like on the stream. It's absolutely free, helps me out a ton. All right, we'll move on. Number 42, we've got Tummy. And again, I'm sorry that some of these don't really have that many bullet points. Like, I did put more time into this than the last seasons, but it's still 48 different teams that I have to rank, and I have to do Chi and Pow stuff as well. I'm still busy, so some don't have as much thought as others, for sure. But this team has no breaking power. This was my main gripe with this team. This team does not have very good breaking power. Infernape is not as strong as you would think. It's like base 108 attacks or 104 attacks, I think. So you're really putting everything into Salamence being the breaker for you. I do like Spike Stack plus Salamence. Round 3 Sylveon's a reach, but overall my big problem with this team is the fact that you don't have very much breaking power on a team that would really appreciate breaking power. You just have a bunch of walls. Chi-Yu is sitting pretty right now. Chi-Yu is sitting pretty right now. I think there's only been 2 Chi-Yu coaches right now. I think. What's going on, Pokemon Department? How you doing? Alright, moving on to 41. We've got Namaro. And this team is cool because it's a random assortment of mods that I think everybody... general consensus is they're underrated, right? Superior with Terra, everybody told me I overpriced. Ninetales Alola, people aren't too big of a fan of. Maybe since the snow buff, I don't really know. Blaziken's going through the fraud allegations right now. Like Reuniclus is not a Pokemon you see drafted very often, so it's a lot of underrated guys, but that's also why it's not very good. Because there are a bunch of guys who are fine, like they're not bad, but what's their play together? I don't really understand. Like compared to other teams, this team's just a little bit worse, a little bit lower on the totem pole, right? It's not horrible, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they play with this for sure. All right, we're moving on now to number 40. Number 40 is Zomb, one of my close friends in the league. I think his team is literally the definition of mid. Tornadus Therian, Ogerpon Wellspring with Terra, and Scizor, and then a bunch of guys. Mamoswine's really strong too. It's just like very underwhelming. You don't have very much removal, very much reliable removal with Torrent. I mean, I guess you have Scizor, you have Cyclizar, right? You have Stack, which is pretty cool, but there's not very many strong Pokemon here. It's just kind of like you're relying on Mamoswine and Ogerpon, and I guess Scizor, and they're all physical. He said Zombie said 40 earlier because I told him that he was 40th yesterday. That's why he said 40. That's why he said 40. Why is my name up top? Oh, because you were the most recent person to subscribe on stream, I think is why. At least it has their subs public. Yeah, no, I told him that he was 40th. I said, dude, your team sucks. Bro tried to trick you guys, for real. Alright, moving on to 39, we got William D. Obviously, Chi-Yu round 1. That's a downside. Ting Lu division, by the way. So, a lot of Chi-Yu guys still on the board, but this Chi-Yu is not. I'm not a big fan of round 1 Chi-Yu. I'm not a big fan of second Mon Zapdos. And your dragon, or excuse me, your steel is a dragon type, and your fire is a dark type. So your only fairy resist on this team is Clodsire, and Clodsire is not very good, unfortunately. Clodsire is very mediocre in draft, so that's not very good, right? And I also think you have a random Jolteon when you should probably have Terra the Jolteon. You don't need Arboliva and Serena. I think you could drop Arboliva and you could Terra the Jolteon, or you could look for something else with those points. Like, Arboliva's not really necessary here, and you could just stuff those points into Jolteon, surely. Ting Lu stocks dropping. Alright, number 38, we've got Aurora. So I talked about I had a hard time rating this team. Top of the team is great. Dragapult, Terra, Hoopa, big fan. Glamora, Primarina, Ironcrad. Like, I like how these guys work well together, but the bottom feels super random. Like, why is there a Primeape here? Why is there a Cryo here? I guess for spin? You have a large ghost weakness minus the Dunsparce, but you're not going to want to bring the Dunsparce every single week. And someone in stream was like, oh, but Hoopa, you know, kind of resists ghost. Well, if they're physical, he does not resist ghost. So you do have a large ghost weakness outside of the Dunsparce. But I am a big fan of the Glamora stack into Dragapult and Terra Hoopa Unbound. I'm a big fan of that. I think that's fantastic, and I think it's going to do you well. There's no way I've not been shown yet. This is insane. Cocky, this is the highest you've been, I think. Primeape is good. I think without Terra, Primeape is not good. Cramorant is the ultimate Quaquaval counter. Genuinely has a purpose and good matchup for 1-point Mon. I would have to do Kaus to see whether or not I agree with you. You might be right. Okay. Maybe. Next up, 37, we're going to have Clyze, the community man himself. I don't think it's bad. I think maybe I was a little harsh on this team, to be honest, but it's just low power level compared to the other teams. Best Mon Terapagos into Slowking Galar. You don't have, you know, the best breakers in the world. It's not a bad team. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. I just think other teams are better in general. Oh, what did it say? I tried. Chi looking free right now. So, are you guys thinking right now that Chi is gonna win? What's the poll say right now? Yeah, 52% of you guys think that Chi is gonna win right now. Yeah, 52% of you think Chi is gonna win. I think this team is a lot better. That's why there are these things called opinions. I don't think this team is as good as others above it. Moving on, we got Dan from Wochi, and still, I think there's only been 2 Chi-Yu guys so far. The problem with this team, I'm a big fan of Terra Latias. I think the Mon is probably the best Mon on the board that we allowed. And I think Ting Lu is awesome, and you have Hazard Stack, and Bundle is really cool. I think it was a very strong start, but past that, it really falls flat because there's very few breakers, right? Zapdos Galar, was that new? Was that like a drop? I might have just missed that, but there are very few breakers. It's kind of just Zapdos Galar, right? And an Iron Bundle, but you don't really want to use Iron Bundle as a mid-game breaker if you want to use it efficiently. You want to use it more of, you know, like a pivot to get into certain things and use it as a late-game cleaner. And this team's just going to have a lot of trouble breaking things. It's very, very fat, but it's going to have a lot of trouble breaking things. I'm going to drop a rating soon. Sorry, Chi, did I let you down? Is this done with transactions? I'll be honest. I took screenshots of the docs last night. So whatever was on the dock last night is what got rated. So if the mods updated your week 2 transactions already, then that's what got rated. Otherwise, that's not what got rated. All right, moving on. We do have Pokemon department. He actually called it. We have his Terra Excadrill team, which, okay, I have you kind of low, right? Which I want to say at this point, none of these teams are bad. I don't think any of these teams are bad. Excadrill is really cool. I'm not sold on it as a best Mon, even with Terra yet. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I love Excadrill. I think it's awesome, but I do think you could have gotten it round 2, and you could have gotten a better, higher power level Pokemon round 1 rather than it into Ogre Bomb Water. But I like what this team generally brings to the table. You know, you have spikes, you have lots of momentum into sand, which I really, really like. You have good breakers and like Enamorus. You have pretty much every role filled, and I think you're the only person to take Terra Wiglet, which is awesome. And that should have bumped you up a few points. I should have wrote that down. But just had to lose a match due to a crit and a low roll. Sorry about that, Lost. Kremlin's a +2 triple action from Quack. Maybe almost a Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know how Pokemon department saw that. How is Chi-Yu doing? I think this is only the 3rd Chi-Yu coach shown so far. I think so. But yeah, your team's not bad, Pokemon department. I'm just not sold on Excadrill as the best Pokemon on the team yet. I'm very interested to see how you do with it, actually, though. Moving on, we've got Mountain from Wochian, excuse me. So the problem with this team is the best Mon's Terra Hydreigon. And I love Hydreigon. I think it's really good, and I think it's a really good Terra captain. But I do think, much like the Terra Excadrill that we just saw, you could most certainly have gotten it at earliest round 2, and you could have gotten something better round 1. This team also has Excadrill no sand, which I'm not too big of a fan of. It can be used as a defensive piece, but generally speaking, you want to at least have the option to have sand because you want to get the most out of your Pokemon, and if you don't have sand, is Excadrill really worth 15 points? I'm not really sure. Otherwise, though, this team is good. Like, it synergizes well. It just, the power level, again, is just lower because you took round 1 Hydreigon. But you meshed it together kind of well, like, for what it is. I don't think it's bad by any means. I do think Seviper sucks. I think Ambipom sucks. And I think Morgrim sucks. Trade those guys out for something. And I think it'll be better. Time to replace Seviper with Hippopotas. I agree. Alright, moving on. Had to get Seviper because someone already took Kramis at one point. So true. Moving on, we got JRicky. This team, my main problem with this team and why this team ranks so low is because this team is extremely setup oriented. There are not immediate breakers on this team besides Thundurus. There is just mono setup. I do think Terra Mew is really cool, and I'm excited to see how JRicky does with it because I think it has a lot of potential in the hands of a creative builder. So hopefully he's able to show us why it's good, right? But this team is just extremely setup oriented. Every single mon on this team wants to set up. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating how strong Meow is, but it's just very setup oriented. But it does mesh well. It's not bad. Just no breakers. My old account watching the ads for it. Thank you, Kaki. I appreciate you. Magmortar and Banded Mudsdale. Yeah, Meowscarada. Maybe I'm underrating Meowscarada a little bit, but stats-wise, I think it's pretty weak, right? I think it's just Thundurus as far as like strong breakers go. Yeah, use those new emotes, Lost. Thank you. Next up, number 32, we'll have Eden, the first Kyurem Black team, I think. Kyurem Black, my favorite Pokemon. I love this guy. Bro forgot how strong Meow was. How strong is Meow? Let me see this. 110? I did not forget how strong Meow is. That's not a breaker. I don't think 110 is classified as a breaker. Unless I clicked on the wrong Pokemon? No, I'm not classifying 110 as a strong breaker at all. That is not a breaker. This draft, if you missed it, I loved how he drafted. He drafted all of these mons in the wife beater that I drafted, and he named them all John Dango, John Rum Black. I liked it. I like it. I like the team. I just think best mon Kyurem Black's a little tough. Again, I've said it several times. I don't get the Zarude Terra hype. I could be completely underestimating it. There were 3 Terra Zarudes picked, all 3 divisions. I thought we overpriced it, but clearly not. Maybe we underpriced. I'm very curious to see how it does for everybody. But Kyurem Black plus Goldango, I'm a massive fan of. I think these two work so well together. I just would have liked to see a mon better than these two above it. I would have liked to see Spike Stack. I think Spike Stack on this team would have been great instead of Thwacky Swallow Charjabug, maybe a 5-pointer that gets spikes. You know what I mean? I like Cinderace plus Kyurem Black as well. Court change to keep hazards off your side of the field, plus the ability to break steals and have momentum is really nice. And you have Donphan for spin into Cinderace Kyurem Black, which is not my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. What?
Everybody say hi.
Give me a bear. Hi, Smile Girl. Everybody say hi to Bear. Everybody say hi, Bear. Can you wave, Bear? Oh my goodness. We're so excited. I'm so excited. I love you, JRicky. All right, number 31. My team has the bear seal of approval. Please move it up. I will do, Eden. Next up, we're gonna have SJ. I think you could argue. Are you walking away? Oh no, Jayla! You revealed the next one. No, why would you do that, baby girl? No, don't cry. No, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. No, it's okay, baby. Here, take her. It's okay. Look, her's okay.
Why'd you get onto her?
Okay. SJ's team, weak to ground. He's scared of ground types, it has decent pivot and breakers, but it lacks removal. We'll move on since we already showed Kaki's team, and SJ's already talked about like the downsides of his team. Like, it's not bad, but we'll move on here. Jalison's greatness and had to move it across. I guess so. Jalen's favorite team.
Say bye-bye. Bye.
Jalen's favorite team here. Kaki. It's gonna be full of some heavy hitters, right? You've got like Blaziken, you've got Bundle, you've got Meowscarada, the heavy hitter that you guys were talking about earlier. But you have round 1 Meowscarada, which I guess doesn't really matter because you somehow got round 5 Bundle and round 7 Ursaluna Blood Moon. I mean, it's good. It's just not as good as the teams above it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm not too big of a fan of Zoroark Hisui as a Terra captain. I think it's not great because once you Terra, your illusion doesn't matter anymore. It's good for like a one-time surprise thing, I guess, but past that, it's not my favorite Terra captain in the world. Because once you use Terra, your hat stays on. You'll get revealed by a hat. That's okay. But round 7 Ursaluna Blood Moon and round 5 Iron Bundle are fantastic. Lack of hazards is another thing that I don't love about this team. You have Meow and you have Ursaluna Blood Moon to throw up, or not Ursaluna Blood Moon, Annihilate to throw up Stealth Rocks, but this team's cool. I think Kaki would do well with it. I think it's the best team you've had in JJDL, Kaki. So, what does Terra Ditto do? I'm not sure. I'm now determined to join a draft league solely for the purpose of using a Cramorant. Join JJDL Season 4, Alex. You will surely get in with how active you've been in the streams recently. This is already higher than I expected, so I'm over the moon with this. Can Ursa Ape Terra? Nah, both of those are banned. Very, very good Pokemon. Zoroark Hisui doesn't need more than one surprise turn? I guess, but isn't it kind of weak? Isn't it like 110? Not even? Like, you need kind of... It's 125? That Pokemon's way stronger than I thought. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Maybe Kaki will sell me on it. Toxic Spikes can also throw up T-Spikes. Alright, moving on. We're going to have 29 is going to be Wind. Look, I have been preaching for weeks about how I'm tired of seeing Gouging Fire without Sun. However, when it's your second best Pokemon and your top Pokemon is Iron Valiant, that's gonna kind of invalidate anything that I say about it, right? I like these two paired together a lot. I think these two are fantastic as a combination together. And the fact that you were able to get both is ridiculous. Past that, though, I'm not super in love with the team. I think Skarmory is fine as a pairing. I think you probably could have waited a little bit on it, though. I think Rotom Wash is a good pairing. I think Rotom Wash plus Gouging Fire specifically is really good. I'm not sold on the rest of the team, though. There's another Terra Zarude, by the way, the second Terra Zarude. I'm not sold on the rest of the team. This could just be ignorance to Terra Zarude. Maybe it is like the truth, and him getting it this late is going to make or break the entire team. I don't know. But would like to see Sun on this team, obviously, with Gouging Fire. The fact that you got it round 2 is ridiculous. I'm just not sold on the rest of the pieces. Sunny Day Cryogonal. Wynn's logo is really good. Yeah, I like Wynn's logo. Sunny Day Cryogonal. Alright. After doing some research, there are 2 5-point spike setters, Gligar and Colossal. One is completely awful, and the other makes me want to explode the grounds. Look, Eden, it's better than Swalot, Charge a Bug, and whatever the other one was, unfortunately. Alright, moving on. We've got Ting Lewis, who, excuse me. Check DM would have a moment I slid in. Let me see. Next up, we have Ting Lewis. So, Roaring Moon as the round 1 pick is bad. I don't like it. I'm against it. However, the reason Lewis is up so high... thank you so much for the $3, Jer, in the emote. Thank you so much. The Roaring Moon should not be a round 1 pick. But the reason this is so high is because this is the best round 1 Roaring Moon team I've ever seen. You've got pretty much everything you want. You've got defensive pieces, Clefable next to it, Goldingo next to it's fantastic. You've got Spike Stack, you've got Hazards. You have A Remover and Tentacruel, which is fine, I guess. You have even Webs if you want to do it. There are a lot of good pieces and a lot of good synergy next to this team. The only thing that I don't love about this team... Thank you again, Jerica. The only thing that I don't love about this team... Yo, what's going on, Leo? How you doing? is Terracle Dingo. I think Terracle Dingo is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I think on this specific team, you're not going to want to stray away from your steel type whenever you're this weak to fairies, when your main piece is going to be Roaring Moon. So that's like my one major gripe with this team. And maybe you go like Terralando T instead, but other than that, I think this is a fantastic team. All right, moving on. Number 27, we've got Zodiac. We're moving on to like the mid pieces. Like 27, 26, 25. This is like the middle of the pack teams. About halfway done here. So Zodiac's team, the offensive pieces are fantastic. I do think that his team is very much so missing a bulky water though. Bundle being your bulky water is obviously not good, and he's going to struggle with those specific types that bulky water helps with: water, fire, and ice. And obviously a bulky water would help him in that sense. Maybe he could drop something like, I don't know, he could drop a couple different pieces, move a couple different pieces around to try to get that bulky water. And obviously Scald is obviously not going to be super fun into this team as well. You could go like Goodra to soak it up, I suppose, but Goodra's not always going to be special, so there is going to be problems with that in certain matchups, obviously. But offensively, this team is good. You know, Great Tusk, Thundy T, and Iron Bundle is going to be very scary together, and I'm very excited to see how he uses that. And I'm not a big fan of round 4 Sylveon. I don't like Sylveon that much this generation, and I do think round 4 is a little bit of a reach. But moving on here, number 26, we're gonna have Khan from Mochian. So this team, upon first glance, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna say, John, you're insane for having this team this high. But then you got to see down here, he's got his Terra Captain Weavile in like the last round. Let's just slide him up here and let's talk about Latios, Quaquaval, Weavile, and Ursaluna regular, excuse me. Those four together are very good. I very much enjoy those four together, and even if we throw Screamtail on top of that, I enjoy those 5 together. The rest of the team, very random, very all over the place, and I don't love. Garg is super random, Magnezone super random, Muck, Arboliva, Masquerain, Oricorio, all super random Pokemon, but if we're just talking about the core 5, I like it a lot, and I think they mesh very well together. I think Weavile is an underrated Terra Captain. And another downside of this team is that he has 11 Pokemon. I think in a format like this where you give him 115 points, I don't really think very often should you go to 100 or to 11 Pokemon. And I think this is a prime example of why. Because look, you have like 4-point Masquerain, 6-point Oricorio. You just put those into one Pokemon, you have a 10-point Pokemon, and your team's just a lot better. You know what I mean? Being weak to Scald isn't real central. Of course you would say that. Of course you would say that. Jamal, what place were you? Bad news, Jamal.
Say bye to Bear.
Bye, Bear.
Can we?
I love you.
Can you join the stream for like 2 minutes so I can throw something?
Yeah, we've got a guest star for a couple of minutes. Hi, Bear. You wanna reveal another coach? Jamal, bad news. 48. 48 to 48. Alright, hold on. We're gonna get back where we were. We were going all the way back just to show Jamal where he was. Next up, from Tinglu, Flivim, FLVM. There's a lot of downsides with this team, but the main positive that I'm going to talk about first is going to be the top 3. Dragapult, Urshifu, Wrap, and Ogerpon Hearthflame is fantastic together. I also like the Spike stack with this, with Overquill and Ogerpon Hearthflame. Magic Bounce from Hatterin's really good. Your Steel type and Impo is really good. Terragarg sucks, unfortunately, probably. I don't know, maybe I'm overrating it, but I think we're at the point in the generation where there's just kind of better Pokemon. And you probably shouldn't have chosen it. I also think... Oh, whoops. I also think... Watch out, Bear. I also think Ampharos, Masquerain, and Trapinch, that could be compressed into another Pokemon. There's obviously, you know, downsides with this team. There's no removal next to Ogerpon Hearthflame, which I am never a fan of because you can never run boots on that Pokemon. But... and you don't have any ground resist. But past that, this team's very good. You have Masquerain ground resist, if you want to count that. But I do not. Yeah, Bear? You just want to run the stream, baby? Yeah, you do. You do. Keep that energy when I go 8. No, surely not. I really like Terra Giraffe. I'm also a big fan of Terraforma Giraffe. I think it's very good. Let's see. Let's move on here. Number 24, we've got Zach McBuckets. His team's not bad. I've talked about it before. His team's actually pretty good. If I see one more Gouging Fire non-Sun team, I am going to... It's going to be brutal. It's gonna be brutal. I'm gonna start banning people from chat, from the server. I'm gonna start kicking people and replacing people. I'm so tired of seeing no gouging fire, son. Ah! I'm tired of seeing no gouging fire, son. But this team's not bad. Overall, this team's good. Like, it has all the pieces. I think literally 24 is the perfect spot for it because it's just mediocre. Because of the fact that, not it's bad, but because other teams are better than it. Also, round 2 Corviknight sucks. Round 2 Corviknight's bad. Gouging Fire doesn't need Sun. Gouging Fire needs Sun to get the full use out of it. I'm not saying it's bad without Sun, but it is not a round 1 Pokemon without Sun. Not at all. You want to have Sun so you get the full use out of the Pokemon. Because is it worth 17 points without Sun? I don't think so. Probably not. I wouldn't make it my best Pokemon without Sun ever. Underwhelming compared to every other Pokemon in 17 without the ability to have Sun. Not saying you need to bring Sun every week, but having the capability to have Sun and bring it, I think is crucial next to Gouging Fire to get the 17-point value out of it. What's going on, Nissa? How you doing? Wrong div on this slide, I think. Is it? Wait, Smeargle, look into that for me, because that could actually change the rankings. Jayla, you gotta stop kicking. Gotta stop kicking. I know! I know! But yeah, Smeargle, if you could check that, let me know. If he's not Tinglu. He's Wo-Chien? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's actually, that might change the, we'll recount whenever we end it. Somebody remind me at the end of stream. Really, Jayla, you're making this so difficult. Alright, next up, Central. Central's team sucks. He's mid. He's here. He obviously doesn't switch into Scald. This dude is so scared of Scald. He has 3 base 100s. This dude doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not sure how he made it this far. Moving on. 22, Onkar. He's got good breakers, good setup options. It's okay, sometimes I forget about the 2 best priority abusers. T-Wave. This dude had this typed out and ready to send as soon as his team came out. Oh yeah, there it is, the copy pasta. Oh, is this your server? Drop bottom 2 for Zangoose, kind of fixes the physical breaker issue. Well, Zangoose still sucks, but this is hilarious. Got your goons out for me, huh, Central? No, Nissa, no! No, Jayla! Look, you're making Jayla very sad. Alright, Jayla's not very sad, I lied. I like your team, Onkar. I hope you do go with Terra Regidrago. Moving on. Someone tell me why you're glazing Terra Raging Bolt. Name one thing Terra Raging Bolt does that Terra B does not do. Jamal, I'm not even going to respond to that. That's an insane statement that you just said. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Next up, Chef Evil. Sorry, I should have put it on the slide. My bad. It won't happen again, man. I love Darkrai on this team for no other reason than he's evil. I think it's very funny. I laughed really hard whenever Chef took Darkrai maliciously. I think it's insanely funny. I like the team overall. I don't like Terra. I don't like Terra Ironcrown on this team because I think you really do need the Steel type. I don't think your team really enjoys Fairies otherwise. What? What do you think? I don't think your team really enjoys Fairies otherwise, so I don't think you're going to shed the Steel typing on Ironcrown too often. I like Terra Ironcrown in general. I think it's really cool in concept, but on this specific team, you're probably not going to lose that typing too often. I like Spike Stack plus Darkrai. I'm a big fan of that. Diancie Ogerpon, really cool. And you don't have a lot of Scald resist. You could take notes from Central on that one. You have your grass type is Ogerpon, and maybe you bring Tatsugiri more than I'm giving you credit for. I don't know. I like Tatsugiri, but no, not Chef Not Evil. It's Chef Evil. Terra Ironcrown is literally the mon I drafted around. That's crazy because I think that it would very much benefit from not being Terra on this team. John used the wrong week? Ah, shoot, I did. Man, I made these last night. My fault. Alright, next up we got Bleedle. Big fan of Poe Uncle Mike. I think it's really cool. I think Terra Uncle Mike's really cool too. I've never seen it used outside of VGC, so I'm really interested. Jayla, please don't eat that. You struggle a lot with ground types. A lot of people have already pointed that out to you, but your core is really good. Dragapult, Iron Hands, Chiyu. Iron Shreds, Screamtail. What do you think? You're making this very difficult, Bear. You also have 4 points remaining, and I'm not sure why. You could literally pick up a Terra Pokemon. You could pick up literally anything on your team. I don't know why you have 4 points left. It kind of boggles my mind. The only real downside that I don't like about this team and why it ranks so much lower, because it does like check off a lot of boxes, is that you lack immediate breaking power next to Pult. You don't really have that many great immediate breakers on this team. I'm not a big fan of only Iron Hands as a breaker, especially when he's your Terra captain. You don't necessarily want to force him into being a breaker when you might want him to be like the setup win con. You know what I mean? If it wasn't Terra, I wouldn't be here. Without Terra, it's garbage. Are we talking about Iron Crowns? Did you say take notes from Central? You skipped over it? Hey, man, I don't make the rules. Without all the cheat you did. Bleedle loves having points over? Why? Why does he have 4 points left over? Am I next? And if this all, there's a lot of teams left. There's 19 teams left. I promise you, there's more than one Shiyu next. Next up. We are going to see OutSynced. Nick, Ahmad. I like his team. I've said it before, I think Terraladias is the best Pokemon on the board. I like it plus Heatran, I like it plus Keldeo. I think Serp and Florges were a little bit weird. I don't hate their place on this team, but I do think he got them a little early. Crocodile with roll compression is really nice next to Latias. Kleavor is really cool. I don't think Gyarados is a real bulky water, so I'd like to see a real bulky water in that slot. And I'd like to see some removal, because right now it's just Chinchino, and I don't really count that. I'd also like to see Spikes on this team. I'm a big fan of Spikes plus Lati, Spikes plus Keldeo. I think Spikes would make this team a lot better. Team's good. All these teams are good up here, and you're getting lots of points. Look at this. You better hope that your team, you better hope this is where all your guys are now. Because this is where all the big points, all the big boy points are coming through at. Next up, we've got Pep. Again, another mod from Team Lu. We've got Darkrai, Iron Hand, Suicune, Tinkaton, Terra Thundi, Cyclizar, Glamora, Uxie, and Scyther. This team's great. I like Darkrai plus Iron Hands. I like the stack with Glamora. I think it's crazy you got Glamora this late, because I think Glamora is your third best Pokemon. Even you have Terra Thundi, but your best non-Terra Pokemon, I think Glamora is your third best. You don't have any breakers outside of Thundi, is why this ranks so low. Hello? Okay. But I like Darkrai, I like Hands, I like the team. I think Suicune might be a fraud this generation, though. I think this is the only Suicune that was drafted in all 3 divisions. I actually am going to go through whenever I feel better, and I'm going to make some stats of, like, this Pokemon was drafted this many times. This Pokemon was Terra this many times. I'm going to go through and do that because I think that'd be cool. I'm pretty sure I was looking, and Suicune was only drafted in this one division. Bro said Hands isn't a breaker. Alright, Hands is a breaker. Hands can be a breaker. I'll concede to that one. I will not concede to Meowscarada. Alright, next up, we've got Lunar. Terra Umbreon sucks. Here's your trial. Are you ready for it? Say bye, bear. Look up here. Look. Say bye. Say bye. Yeah. Yay! If you have a Terra Umbreon emo, go ahead and throw it up. Umbreon sucks. I hate that Pokemon. This seems good, but it's slow. It checks all the rules that you really want. Round 2 Great Tusk is crazy. Palafen's crazy. Palafin plus Zapdos is really good. Hydreigon's a great Pokemon. I think it's a great Terra Captain. I like Metagross. Like, at the top 5, I like a lot together. It's just very slow. It's got good priority. And I think the bottom half of the team doesn't make a lot of sense. Huh? Oh. Everybody said bye, Bear. Bye, Bear. I love you. Next up, we got Nejdi, 16th. Another Cure and Black team. I think this is the 3rd Cure and Black team. Maybe. Terra Umbreon might be decent. I'll concede to Terra Umbreon being decent. I'm not a big fan of regular Umbreon, though. Neji for Chiyu. You took Cure and Black round 1. Again, Cure and Black, my favorite Pokemon. Don't think it's a round 1 Pokemon this generation. But you got Dio Speed round 2, so it makes up for it. I think Corviknight sucks. Not only did you pick it round 3, and I think it sucks, but I think Corviknight sucks on this team. Cure and Black Spike Stack, very strong. Spike Stack plus Iron Mod, very strong. You have Ting Lu to take advantage of that. You have a Blastoise to Rapid Spin. Corviknight does not make sense on this team. You could have taken a lot of other steals because you're not going to want to run defog on this Pokemon very often, at least, because you're a spike stack oriented team. You want to get spikes up to do damage to your opponents to put them in range of Kyurem Black plus Iron Moth. I think there were so many other steals that worked better here. I think Corviknight's super mid this generation. I think it just... I'm very adamant that Corviknight could have been something else. What? What? I can't hear you. I love you. There weren't any good steals left. It was round 3, Neshi! It was round 3, Bear! Bear is smiling really big. I love you guys. Frost, I think Corviknight sucks, but also you have no fairies, so you're weak to dragons, which I think is a little tough, but love you guys. Alright, we're in the top 15 now. 15 is going to be Smaster. So, Smaster team's really good. There's just a couple... So, first of all, shout out Garchomp Mascot Pick. Big fan of Mascot Picks. Round 1 Mascot Pick. Really cool. I think Terracerola is really cool. We might have even underpriced it. The main problem with this team is that it is almost entirely physical. The only real special breaks is going to be Kyurem. Obviously, Jirachi can be either physical or special, but this team is primarily physical outside of Kyurem. Outside of that, though, it is a very strong team. It synergizes really well. It has good speed tiers. It has good rockers. It has removal. It has breakers, sweepers. Like, it has what you want. It's just the fact that it has one special Pokemon. Other than that, it's a really good team. Did I say anything about the Meow Mascot Pick? You know what? You're right. Shout out Kaki for the Meow Serrata Mascot Pick as well. Kyurem, the only special attacker you need. I hope that he doesn't run into a single steel type. Garchomp will help that. Specs Mandibuzz going in this season. I can't wait for the plot. What is it? Weak armor. All right, next up, 14 Potato Z. Kirby Stan. The last Kyurem Black team. It's another Kyurem Black stack team. I like it a lot. Kyurem Black, Regieleki, and somehow round 3 Sneasler. Tinglu's really cool. I like Tinglu next to Kyurem Black. The main problem with this team and why it ranks this low, when it could be a lot higher, you do not have a steel, and I think a steel type next to Kyurem Black is so important. You don't have a fairy resist besides Dirge, and Dirge is already extremely pressured defensively on this team because it resists so many crucial types that your team does not enjoy, right? Like, it resists steel. Your team doesn't enjoy steel. It resists it. I mean, Ogerpon as well. But the main purpose, like... Dirge is just so extremely pressured to resist those fairy types and come pretty much every week. If you don't bring it, you don't have a fairy resist, and that's obviously not enjoyable. 4 points for Illumise seems really high. Yeah, I don't know why we did that. I don't remember. I think someone convinced me after a speed tour or something. I really don't remember. Because I assure you I don't rank Illumise that high. It is also Terra, though, so it's Terra Tax. So normally it was either 2 or 3, normally. Why is KB the most liked out of the 3? The most liked? What do you mean the most liked? I love to see a low tier terrain setting for Sneasler. Well, he has Indeedee. Indeedee does set terrain low tier. Alright, moving on, number 13. We're gonna have Lost. Shout out. First of all, Terra Turtwig. Very real for that one. I can't lie, you paid 2 points for Turtwig. That's legit. I should have given you points for that one. I like Urshifu plus Goldingo. I've raved about this score a lot in the past. I think Urshifu plus Goldingo is tried and true core. I think these two work so well together. And then you pair Gliscor Stack with it. Gliscor Stack? Did I say Sticker Stack? Gliscor Stack on top of that. I also think Ogerpon is a very underrated pickup here. It gives you a good speed tier, a fairy resist, a lot of stuff. Another spike stacker. It gives you a lot of stuff that you really enjoy. And obviously, you have Spin Block with Goldingo, and Spike Stack plus Urshifu is crazy. Like, I like this team a lot. Generally, it seems like a very fun, momentum-based, hazard-based team. My main downside with this team, and the fact that this team is so low, is because your one remover is Cyclizar when you have Ogerpon, and that's not bad, that's not horrible, but it's going to be a little tough because people are always going to prioritize rocks versus you. That was my main gripe. This not being top 10 is nuts. It is 13th! Complain more! Everyone likes using Kyurem Black. Why is Kyurem low? And is Kyurem White not a draft thing? Why is Kyurem low? Like, low points-wise? It's DD banned. is why it's lower in points wise. And it lost Roost this generation. And why is Kyurem White not a thing? So Kyurem White's not a thing because it's a little overwhelming with its stabs because it has access to Fusion Flare, so it can hit the steals that Kyurem Black can't hit super well. It has Earth Power for, but it doesn't have something like Fusion Flare. Fusion Flare is like way better to hit it and way stronger because it's actually 170 special attack on Kyurem White compared to 120 special attack on Kyurem Black. So it's able to hit its checks a little bit better, I guess, is ultimately the answer to the question there. Rocks for only one mon. Yeah, I guess Gliscor also does only have. Oh, are you saying? Well, I guess you brought up a downside with your team. Now that I think about it, but yes, Ogerpon is extremely. You don't want to let it get too downed by rocks there. All right, moving on. We're at number 12. We're gonna have Colt, which is a massive glow up. Because if I do recall correctly, he was absolute last place last season. He had not a good team at all, and now he has a very good team. I like Latios, Blaziken, Weavile, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Clefable. These 5 together, that's a crazy combination of Pokemon that's very difficult for any team to have very much for. Where this team falls short, Terra for Alligator is cool, but because you got Terra for Alligator, who is 14 points, you do not have a bulky water on your team, and your team has all of the general weaknesses that a bulky water would help with. Other than that, like, the top 5 is crazy. I really enjoy these top 5 paired together. Cycle is the best spinner? That's a crazy take. Unless you meant it was the best spinner left. But you're not going to want to bring Cyclozar every single week. I have a win, whereas a lot of people here do not. This is solely based on the teams, not the actual performance that has happened thus far. Not the coach stuff. This is solely my opinion on the teams. Bellybolt can pretend to be one. I guess that's true. Yeah, Bellybolt could pretend to be one. Moving on, number 11, we got Fagos. Where's all my Fagos haters in the chat? You got a little groupies of Fagos haters there. Despite the allegations, this team is gas. There's very little wrong with this team. My main gripe with this team is that Registeel is very out of place and those points could have been put elsewhere. But other than that, this team is very good. Other than the fact that it lacks removal entirely and your top tier threats very much so do not want to run boots. I mean, Palafin can run boots, Valiant can run boots, but obviously Valiant would rather have something like Booster, Palafin would rather have something like Band or Punching Glove. You don't really want that. So a good T-Spike is going to make this team very hindered. Other than that, this team hits like all the important check boxes. I think this team's great, very powerful, very strong, and just misses out on my top 10. Yeah, I think you were 30th exactly, SJ. No removal and no grounded poison sucks. Yeah, that is the biggest downside of this team. I think if you just trade Registeel for a grounded poison or a spinner of some sort, then I think this team's very, very good. I think that bumps this up a lot. No Dark does suck too. That is true. That is true. Alright, moving on. We're going to hit Bummer. This is the top 10 now. We're in the big boy league. Top 10. We have Bummer. So, I did see that Bummer made some transactions today. Literally, on my way home, thinking about this, I saw he made some transactions, which is super ironic. I don't like the transactions that he made, like, at all. Like, I think his team was fantastic. This team is fantastic. So these are Spectre, King Gambit. This team, these 3 together, very, very good. I think these 3 paired very well together. And the Swampert as a glue piece is obviously really awesome. You have great speed tiers. And I mean, this team pretty much checks every single box that you want as far as defensively. Like, your ground type is Swampert, so you think you'd be a little bit more weak to ice, but you have Rotom Heat to cover it up a little bit, right? You think you have Swampert, so you're a little weak to water, but you have Hydrapple, you have Noivern. Like, I think this team really covered its weaknesses very, very well. And they had good offensive pieces, good breakers. And while these might have been the only breakers, I think they were all very good breakers. So I am sad to see that this team made some transactions because I did not particularly love the transactions they made, if I do recall. I'm not going to go find them, but... Number 9! Smeargle. Devin, I think, is in the chat. I'm sorry if you would rather go by Devin. I put Smeargle because it was on the dock. So, another really good Sun team. Another Gouging Fire team. I like the team a lot. Spectrier is good, but it obviously I don't know how much I love it on this team because you do lack, you know, good ways to break darks. You know, you don't have a good fighting type, things like that. However, and your fairy type's really weak, but your overwhelming offense doesn't really care what I say. You're gonna do good with this team because this team's broken. This team has overwhelming offense. You have spike stack, you have removal, you have very strong Pokemon, you have a great underrated Terra Captain of Leafeon in the sun. I think this team meshes really well together. But yeah, I mean, the only real downside is that you don't have great ways to break darks, or I guess normals by in that case, but be with Spectrier. But your team's just so good, so overwhelming that I don't think your team's really gonna care what I have to say. I picked it just because it's broken. That's completely fair. Completely fair. Double Sun Dragons. Yep. I think this seems really, really good. Okay. Next up, number 8. Just thinking about getting a grounded poison and fighting, and I'm super happy with it. Yeah. I think that could definitely benefit you. Next up, we got Murkit, who I also think was rated pretty low last season, but now he's coming out swinging with what I think is a really good team. Obviously, Regen Core, Torn, Slowking, Galar, very good. Baxcalibur is a breaker. Terra Keldeo, I think, is a really good Terra Captain, one of the better ones on the board. You do like a bulky water, but your team doesn't really care about Scald between Keldeo and Baxcalibur, and even Glowking being able to switch in, so I think that is probably fine. My main gripes, one reliable rocker in Heatran, I'm not counting Sandaconda as a reliable rocker, and one form of removal with Bax Tornadus, and it's Chinchino, and does that really count? I don't think so, but you let me know what you think. I think the team's good. Good physical, good special breakers, good momentum to get Baxcalibur in, flip turn Keldeo, U-turn Tornadus, Chili Reception Slowking, obviously Chili Reception paired with Baxcalibur. I think this team's very, very good, and I think this team should do very well on paper. Fez, Central is the number 1 hater today. Why are we hating on Fez? I believe in Chinchino. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Team good. Number 7. Can you hurry up? Too slow. I want dinner. Number 7 is going to be Thriller. And this team's insane, but I do think there are teams that are better. This team, Great Tusk, Spectrier, Chi-Yu, is a crazy combination of a team, right? This team, the start, very good. Obviously, you have Walking Wake 2, you have Torkoal Sun, you have Venusaur. This team is crazy good. The downsides with this team, you don't have a Steel, and you don't have a Fairy. And specifically, the Steel would be very beneficial on this team because you don't have good Fairy resist. In my opinion, I think that a Steel would slot in very well on this team, specifically over Rotom Fan. I'm not a big fan of Rotom Fan on this team. I think it's kind of random. You pick Tropius for the people, you could throw those points elsewhere. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say. Other than that, the only other downside of this team is that you don't have a lot of momentum into 3 Pokemon, your top 3 Pokemon, all which love momentum. Great Tusk, Spectrier, and Chi-Yu all love strong momentum into them. And you don't really have that. You have Wake, and I think that's Rotom Fan. And I think that's it. Smeargle, if you want to count that. Team's good. It just has some flaws, and the teams above you have a little bit less flaws. So that's it. For my team having one major downside, you keep saying way more for other teams. Your ranking makes no sense. And that's why they're called opinions. I'm going to be honest. I'm getting really annoyed that you guys keep complaining. Super annoyed. Their opinions. My opinions. If you want to do your own tier list, feel free. These are my rankings. I'm getting extremely annoyed. So please, let's cut it out. Number 6. We're going to have SJM. He has Raging Bolt, Darkrai, Gliscor, Jirachi, Milotic, Serena, Urshifu Rapid, Slowbro Galar, and Dachshund. This seems really good. Obviously, the main downside here that we're going to see initially is that it's extremely slow. But you have an elite speed tier in Darkrai, and you have some really good priority with things like Thunderclap in Raging Bolt, and, you know, Aqua Jet with Urshifu, so it's mitigated a little bit. But the major downside of this team is going to be the fact that it is slow. But other than that, it checks all the check boxes. You have Stack plus Raging Bolt, Stack plus Darkrai, you have switch-ins, and you cover all your major types. Granted, Poison on a team that doesn't enjoy T-Spikes. Though you do only have one remover in Serena, which is obviously not the most reliable, but past that, I think this team's really good. Hey, look, Jamal, it's Terra Raging Bolt. Yeah. Yep. Jamal wouldn't know about that one. Loki, doesn't matter where your team is ranked. I thought that I wasn't going to have to go on my whole spiel. I went on like a 15-minute spiel last season about how these rankings are literally just my opinion and they do not matter at all. But clearly not, because you guys just keep shitting on me and it's very fucking annoying. I am about at my limit to where I'm just about to end the stream, to be completely honest with you. Number 5, we have Draco. Draco's team, very good. Terrapo, Sneasler, Rillaboom, Kyurem, Metagross, Terra Salamence, Vaporeon, Terra, Alcremie, Skuntank, and Trapinch. I think Alcremie's bad, but I think Alcremie with Terra is very interesting. You have a lot of good setup options. You have Terrapagos, Kyurem, Salamence with Terra, obviously very, very good. You have good physical breakers. You have good special breakers. The downsides of this team are going to be limited removal and limited rocking options, but you have good breakers both physically and specially. You have good setup options, and you check most of the boxes. So I like this team a lot. I just think the teams above you are slightly better. I don't think there's really any big downsides with this team at all. A little bit flying weak, but past that, the teams above you are just a little bit better. Number 4, we're going to have Bubble Tea. Maybe this was the team that made transactions. Maybe it was this team and not the Bummer team. Now that I'm looking at it. They both had King Gambit. Yeah, it might have been this team. Very few flaws. I think this team is fantastic. I think your number 1 flaw is Alola. I think your real number 1 flaw is your lack of removal with Iron Moth. I think this team's really good. Iron Valiant, Iron Moth, and Garchomp do a great job of breaking for each other. You have Spike Stack into Valiant, Spike Stack into Iron Moth. King Gambit's obviously very strong in this team. Terra Hoop is very strong. You have good switch-ins all around. You have water switch-ins. You have Terra Basculin for some reason. This team's good. I like it. The teams above you, there's 3 teams that are just a little bit better. We're moving on. Number 3, we've got Pay. So, Foot. Latios Sand is fantastic and it's been great for a few generations. I know Owen actually won a season of NCP with Latios Sand. And now you have Terra Excadrill, which is fantastic. That's awesome, right? Rotom Wash is really good on this team. Rotom Wash plus Excadrill's tried and true combo. Another Pheasantipity, obviously. Azelf, Terra Drifblim. Like, this team top to bottom is very good and very usable Pokemon. You do struggle with grounds outside of Excadrill, and you do have Rillaboom plus Excadrill, but I do think that is something you could play around. Excadrill also gets high horsepower if you want to run that. I think it's fine. I think this team's really good. I just think there's 2 teams that are better. There are 2 teams that are like almost flawless. Number 2, we're gonna have Noah, Shattered Backwards. He first of all, he got lucky. His team was ranked lower, but then when I went to take screenshots, Lantern was on there, so I was like, whatever. I'll rank him second because I think his team's really good. Very few flaws. Terra Latias stack done pretty much perfectly. You have all of the covers for everything you want. Ursaluna to break steals. You have Glimora for stack as well as removal. Greninja for stack as well as momentum. You have Scizor for removal as well as momentum. Florges, you can Wish Pass, I guess. I don't really see Florges as that big of a benefit here. But Zapdos breaks steals and momentum. Mismagius Spin Block. And Lantern as a bulky water. You have good momentum. You have pretty much everything you want. There's not a lot, if anything, wrong with this team. And the only reason this team is not number 1 is gonna be because this is the best team that I've ever seen. Probably this is one of if not the best team I've ever seen. Team's really good. Almost nothing wrong with this team. Raging Bolt, round 3 Urshifu, Torrent T, round 4 Treads. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Like, it seems brutal. Literally, I think I actually wrote down in my notes that the only way that you should be able to beat this team is simply by just outplaying the hell out of Ant. You are going to have a bad matchup. It is just how you play around him. Like, you're gonna have to bring something creative because this team's brutal. I don't see how on matchup anybody's gonna match up against this. Yeah. I don't know. This team is brutal. So, based on the community rankings that Clyde sent me, Wo-Chien, based on your guys' rankings, was the best. And then we had Ting-Lu and Chi-Yu. As far as the poll, it was 62% of you guys think that Chi-Yu is going to win. Out of 37 people, 62% of you thought that Chi-Yu was going to win. So, out of my rankings, which are going to change now, because apparently Zach was Wo-Chien and I had that wrong. I apologize. Based on what you guys saw, who do you guys think is going to be the best team? It's gonna show incorrectly, and I'm gonna have to say it verbally who actually won, but not Wuchi and Chiyu. Ting Chi. Wuchi is the People's Champion. Chiyu the GOAT. Ting Lu. Wuchi. Alright, we're going. This was the rankings. Wuchi scored 100 less than the other two teams. And originally, Ting Lu edged out Chiyu by 4 points. It was 429 to 433, I think. However, because Zach ended up being Wuchi and I made a typo, your actual winner is going to be Chiyu. So, congrats to Chiyu for winning the best drafters. I'll add that to your roll here in a second, guys. Congrats to Chiyu. They needed another member to win. Rigged. Congrats to everybody. Slow golf clap for Chiyu. I think that's going to be it, though. I'm going to add you guys to best drafters to your roll. I think it's going to be it here. I'm going to do another stream tomorrow at noon with my pal Jason, Diet Tight, where I'm going to talk about the JJDL, GM PAL, the Wi-Fi division. I'm going to talk about all of those teams, and we're going to do a draft stream tomorrow. Be sure to tune into that at noon tomorrow. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching the VOD, be sure to leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.